Capitaine Traore Ibrahim est nommé président du MPSR pour compter de...
The vision of one man has awakened a slumbering African giant. Changing the once gloomy and sullen country of Burkina Faso to a home of innovations. From the health revolution that caters to the poor to the transformation of gold mining, Ibrahim Traore has launched 10 mega projects shocking the West and touching every part of the country. Join us as we reveal the birth of a new nation.
I believe that Africa has a lot of catching up to do. It's not impossible. It is very much possible.
Be a president like Ibrahim Traore.
Number 10. Waga Dugu Donsine International Airport. In a world where broken promises have become the rhythm of politics, one African leader quietly rewrote the script, not with speeches, but with steel, strategy, and skybound ambition. The newly launched Ouagadougou Donsine International Airport isn't just concrete and control towers. It's the living proof of Ibrahim Traore's bold promise to lift Burkina Faso from isolation and plug it into the global grid. Back in 2013, the nation's leaders acknowledged what everyone already knew. The aging Thomas Sankara International Airport was bursting at the seams. But for years, the plans gathered dust until Ibrahim stepped in. Under his leadership, the dormant dream was revived in 2021 with fresh energy and funding ingenuity, a blend of public investment, private partnerships, and technical guidance from Aéroports de Paris management. Construction finally took flight. The plans were bold. A runway stretching 11,000 feet, ready for wide-body aircraft. A 25,000 square meter terminal, alive with duty-free shops, Burkina Faso restaurants, and sleek business lounges for corporate travelers. But the airport isn't just about passengers. The 15,000 square meter cargo terminal signals something far more strategic. A vision of Burkina Faso as a central logistics hub for landlocked West African neighbors, reversing centuries of dependence on coastal gateways. But beyond the terminals and tarmac lies a deeper transformation. This isn't just an airport, it's a pivot. From transit stop to destination, Burkina Faso is now poised to host global conferences, welcome curious tourists, and attract regional HQs of multinationals. Most importantly, it's a win for the people. Over 5,000 new jobs, both direct and indirect, are being created. From controllers to customs agents, chefs, handlers, hotel staff. Set for completion in 2025, the airport is more than overdue infrastructure. It's the flesh and blood realization of Ibrahim's vision. A sovereign Burkina Faso, connected, competitive, and calling its own shots. In a landlocked nation long dependent on others for access to the world, this airport is more than a gateway. It's freedom with a flight number.
Local tomato processing is now a reality thanks to contributions from the local population.
Number 9. The leap from soil to shelf. When President Ibrahim cut the ribbon on Burkina Faso's first ever tomato processing plant, it wasn't just a ceremony. It was a quiet revolt, not against a nation, but against a system. A century-old pattern where Africa grew the goods and Europe banked the gains. That day in the sun-baked northern town of Yako, he wasn't opening a factory.
Were growing lots of tomatoes, but many were going to waste because they couldn't be used in time.
He was opening a new chapter. This $8.9 million investment represents a compass shift, tilting Burkina Faso toward a future where manufacturing rewrites its economic destiny. And the ambition? It lives in the specs. On just 1 hectare of land near the Yako Dam, chosen for its reliable water, stands a facility that can process 100 tons of fresh tomatoes a day, or 5 tons an hour at full swing. The location wasn't random, it was strategic, part of Ibrahim's broader play to align agriculture and industry, field and factory, seed and scale. But what the world doesn't often see is this. Behind the shine of stainless steel machines hums a far deeper strategy. In its very first year, the plant is projected to turn over $11.2 million.
And what's the quality of the production like?
It's very good. We have a very good product, and also we use a very good tomato paste.
Proof that value addition is no dream. For years, local farmers had watched helplessly as their surplus tomatoes shriveled in the heat, wasted, forgotten. Now those same tomatoes are reborn as paste, concentrate, and preserved goods. And for once, the profits stay home. Here's what's even more radical: the ownership model. This isn't just state-run or foreign-financed, it's a cooperative. Local farmers hold equity. The same hands that till the soil now hold a stake in what happens next. A loop where rural communities aren't just suppliers, but shareholders. Development, finally, with dividends. And the impact? It goes beyond production numbers. For years, Burkina Faso spent precious foreign currency importing tomato paste, while local harvests rotted. Now, one smart plant tackles two long-standing problems: import dependence and market access. With one slice of infrastructure, food security meets economic sovereignty, and a nation begins to reshape its place in the global value chain. Number 8. A gold empire like no other.
The Burkina Faso government has granted mining license to a Russian company called Not Gold for a gold project.
For decades after independence, Burkina Faso shipped out raw gold while its people stayed trapped in poverty. But in just 18 months, the tide turned. In November 2023, under the unforgiving sun of the nation's goldfields, President Ibrahim Traore laid the foundation stone for something unprecedented: Burkina Faso's first gold refinery.
Burkina Faso's Bongo and Waga gold mines now belong to the government.
More than steel and stone, this structure represents a shining declaration of resource sovereignty, a defiant break from a legacy where the raw wealth left and the real profits never came back. With a planned capacity of 150 tons of refined gold per year, the facility is a symbol of ambition, backed by state-of-the-art smelting and purification technology. It can handle ore from both artisanal miners and large-scale operators, refining it to the global standard of 99.9% purity. The facility is more than just machines. It houses assaying labs, secure vaults, and administrative hubs equipped to manage the sensitive logistics of gold processing. And where others often overlook the environment, this refinery doesn't. It leads with advanced filtration and waste systems that not only meet but exceed international benchmarks. Yet the real story lies in the economic transformation this refinery enables. For years, Burkina Faso miners, from lone streambed panners to mechanized teams, had to sell raw gold to foreign buyers at bargain prices. Now, with domestic refining, they can sell directly into global markets, earning premiums that raw ore never could. Estimates suggest that value capture could rise by 40 to 60%, unlocking hundreds of millions of dollars in national income. A seismic shift not just for Burkina Faso, but for the continent. And then comes the deeper play: monetary sovereignty. With local refining, Burkina Faso no longer leans on foreign currency to trade. Instead, it builds its own gold reserves, supporting currency stability and opening new avenues for borrowing on international terms. No longer just a supplier of raw material, the country positions itself as a full participant in global precious metals markets. The impact isn't limited to the facility's walls. It ripples out, creating demand for skilled metallurgists, chemical engineers, and security experts. Careers that keep young Burkinabés at home instead of chasing futures abroad. Transportation firms, maintenance crews, and local service providers all find new opportunity as the refinery drives industrial momentum across gold-rich regions. With its launch, the story changes. No longer will Burkina Faso's gold vanish across borders as unrefined ore, its value siphoned off by distant refineries. Instead, a new chapter begins. One where the nation's gold is purified, priced, and profited from, on Burkina Faso soil, in Burkina Faso hands, and for Burkina Faso futures.
We can connect as many provincial capitals as possible, allow our goods to flow, and let people travel smoothly.
Number 7. infrastructural roads to progress. Across the sprawling landscapes of Burkina Faso, from the cotton fields of the southwest to the dry livestock corridors of the north, a quiet transformation is carving its way through the terrain. Under Ibrahim's watch, infrastructure is no longer about mere asphalt and concrete, but the fundamental arteries of economic development that connect rural producers to urban markets, students to schools, and patients to healthcare facilities. And at the heart of it lies a sweeping road program that may be the most visible signal yet of Ibrahim's transformation agenda.
We have a process to concentrate the city through high-rise constructions to be able to go from one neighborhood to other neighborhoods.
Primary highways are being reimagined to link Burkina Faso with its coastal neighbors, slashing transport costs and shrinking travel times for both trade and people. These aren't your typical dusty tracks. They're being built to international standards, with drainage, signage, and safety measures that reflect a new level of national ambition. Meanwhile, secondary roads dig even deeper into the country's rural veins, converting once impassable trails into all-season access routes. For agricultural communities, these roads are lifelines. In the past, a good harvest often spoiled in the fields during rainy seasons, with no reliable way to reach the market. Now, the roads bring movement, and with movement, possibility. But here's what the headlines miss. This isn't just about smoother travel, it's about economic ignition. Roadworks themselves are job creators, pumping wages into local economies and offering skill-building opportunities to thousands of laborers. Young workers now train in construction techniques, machinery operation, and logistics. Skills that stay long after the last section of road is paved. As workers spend their wages locally, markets spring to life and dormant towns start to hum. Strategic thinking underpins it all. These roads are designed not just for today's needs, but for tomorrow's ambitions, unlocking access to untapped mineral zones, fertile farmland, and hidden corners with tourism potential. They also bolster national security by enabling swift deployment of forces to once isolated areas. Engineering such a vast network across Burkina Faso's varied geography is no small feat. What works in the Sahel won't hold in the humid south. From shifting soils to seasonal floods, the challenges demand locally adapted techniques. That's why domestic firms now partner with global engineers, not just to build, but to learn. Durability is the name of the game, and maintenance is part of the master plan. The government's investment in training and equipment ensures these roads won't crumble in a few rainy seasons, but serve generations. And so, as ribbons of asphalt snake across the countryside, they do more than move goods and people. They move the nation forward, connecting remote communities, fueling opportunity, and drawing the map of a new Burkina Faso, one that is united not just by roads, but by vision.
The first cans of tomato concentrate made in Burkina from the tomato processing plant in Bobo-Dioulasso, Burkina's second largest city.
Number 6. The premier processing plant. Weeks before the second tomato processing plant opened its doors, a quieter revolution had already begun. In Bobo-Dioulasso, the beating heart of Burkina Faso's commerce, the first tomato processing facility fired up its engines, a 7.5 billion franc investment that did more than launch a factory. It ignited a vision, Ibrahim's blueprint for a nationwide network where raw harvests become refined wealth. But this was more than machinery and mortar. This pioneering plant, equipped to handle 100 tons of tomatoes a day, redefined Burkina Faso's connection to its agricultural roots, not as exporters of what's cheap, but as makers of what's valuable.
The Burkinabe consumer can be assured and confident of knowing the quality of products available in the market.
Its placement in the country's second-largest city wasn't by chance. With roads, markets, and skilled hands already in place, the location offered more than logistics. It offered leverage. Spanning 5 hectares, the complex houses a 1,200 square meter production building, raw material bays, finished goods, warehouses, and precision labs staffed by technicians trained to global food safety standards. Yes, the second plant made headlines. But this first one made history. Together, their combined capacity of 200 tons daily gives farmers a way out of waste, capturing seasonal overflow and turning it into steady jobs across the entire supply chain. For Burkina Faso, this is a leap. For Africa, a beacon. For the West, a signal that dependency is being replaced by something far more unsettling: competition. But the power isn't just in paste. Both plants are built for range. From thick concentrate and sauce bases to culinary blends crafted for West African kitchens, the product line doesn't just substitute imports, it aims higher, tapping into regional tastes and premium markets long ignored by industrial producers. And the financing, just as bold. Rather than leaning solely on foreign money or state budgets, Ibrahim fused public funds with community shareholding, creating not just factories but ownership. The kind that puts wealth back in the hands of the people growing the future, one tomato at a time. Number 5. Reviving national aviation. High above the West African skies, a familiar sight has returned. The bold red and green livery of Air Burkina, once grounded by years of financial strain, now soaring again with purpose. At the heart of this aviation rebirth stands President Ibrahim Traore, whose bold investment didn't just lift an airline, it reignited a symbol of national pride. Reviving Air Burkina wasn't a cosmetic fix. It meant confronting years of neglected infrastructure, aging aircraft, patchy maintenance systems, and a skeletal route network. Ibrahim's administration met this head-on, rolling out a strategic, layered plan. It began with government-backed financial stabilization, followed by new leadership and management structures designed to prioritize efficiency and long-term growth. But the commitment ran deeper, to fleet renewal, training, and infrastructure upgrades critical to keeping the airline not just in the sky, but ahead of the curve. Yet the numbers tell only half the story. The real driving force was vision. A vision that blended national identity with smart diplomacy. Air Burkina's new route strategy connects Ouagadougou with major West African capitals, opening doors for trade, cultural exchange, and political collaboration. Beyond the continent, new links to Europe and North Africa mean Burkinabe citizens can now travel abroad without detouring through foreign hubs, reclaiming convenience under their own flag. Fleet modernization was central to the revival. Fuel-efficient aircraft now serve both short-haul and international routes, boosting reliability and profitability. But the vision didn't stop at buying planes. Ground operations received a full overhaul, with new hangars, state-of-the-art tools, and intensive training programs that raised safety standards while nurturing local aviation talent. These facilities now serve not only Air Burkina, but regional carriers as well, adding revenue and influence. Then there's the human engine behind it all: jobs. Air Burkina's return translates into thousands of employment opportunities, from pilots and crew to technicians and support staff. New training initiatives developed with global aviation partners help young Burkinabe build careers at home, blending technical excellence with top-tier service delivery. It's a long-term investment in people and national capacity. But perhaps the biggest impact lies beyond aviation. Air Burkina's reliable connections encourage investment, make business travel smoother, and support tourism growth. Conference planners and trade delegations now see Burkina Faso as accessible and professional, a country with both charm and capability. Visitors no longer need to depend solely on foreign airlines with infrequent schedules. They can fly with confidence and pride aboard their own national carrier. As Air Burkina jets lift off once again from Ouagadougou's runways, they carry more than passengers. They carry a nation's hope for connection, autonomy, and service excellence. Airborne symbols of a Burkina Faso rising with purpose and presence in the world. Number 4. Industrial Cotton Renaissance. In the heartland of Burkina Faso's cotton-growing regions, where white bolls have sustained rural livelihoods for generations, Value-added agriculture takes physical form in the National Support Center for Artisanal Cotton Processing. This facility is a fundamental shift from raw material export to domestic textile production, challenging decades of economic patterns that saw Burkina Faso cotton shipped overseas for processing while finished textiles were imported back at premium prices. The center shows off industrial sovereignty applied to one of the nation's most important agricultural sectors. The processing center's technical capabilities involve the complete transformation of raw cotton into finished textile products, from initial ginning and cleaning through spinning, weaving, and final product manufacturing. Modern machinery, sourced from leading textile equipment manufacturers, enables the production of cotton thread, fabric, and finished garments that meet international quality standards while incorporating traditional Burkina Faso textile patterns and techniques. The 15,000 square meter complex of the facility includes production areas, quality control laboratories, and training workshops where local artisans learn to operate sophisticated textile machinery. But while we marvel at the specifications, let's talk about the impacts on the nation's economy and the world at large. In the past years, cotton farmers were forced to receive minimal compensation for raw cotton, while foreign processors captured the majority of value through spinning, weaving, and garment manufacturing. But all that has changed now with the processing center that enables farmers to participate in higher value segments of the textile value chain, either through direct employment in the facility or through cooperative arrangements that provide premium prices for cotton specifically grown for domestic processing. Furthermore, the importation of second-hand clothing is banned in Burkina Faso, and clothing, including military uniforms, made within the country is promoted, incorporating both modern efficiency and traditional craftsmanship. The facility's design creates production capabilities that serve both mass market and premium artisanal segments. Traditional weavers work alongside modern machinery to create unique textile products that combine contemporary manufacturing efficiency with cultural authenticity that appeals to both domestic and international markets. This hybrid approach positions Burkina Faso textiles as distinctive products that compete on quality and cultural value rather than merely on price. And that's just the beginning. Training and skill development programs at the processing center create career pathways that retain young people in rural areas while providing them with modern industrial skills. Comprehensive programs cover machinery operation, quality control, textile design, and business management, enabling participants to pursue careers within the facility or establish their own textile enterprises using skills and connections developed through the center's programs. These educational initiatives help build a skilled workforce that can support expanded textile production throughout the region. The center's market strategy emphasizes both domestic consumption and regional export opportunities, with product lines designed to serve West African markets where demand for quality cotton textiles continues growing. Regional export opportunities leverage Burkina Faso's central location and quality cotton production to serve markets throughout West Africa with products that combine competitive pricing with cultural relevance. Now spindles, turn, and looms operate in the processing center, weaving more than cotton fibers, creating economic opportunities and preserving cultural traditions. Number 3. Processing the agricultural gold. In the fertile regions of southwestern Burkina Faso, where cashew trees flourish under optimal growing conditions, President Ibrahim Traore's agricultural diversification strategy takes concrete form through the establishment of comprehensive cashew processing facilities. This initiative transforms one of the nation's most promising but underutilized agricultural products from a raw export commodity into a value-added industry that captures premium prices while creating rural employment opportunities. The cashew processing development represents agricultural sophistication that positions Burkina Faso to compete in global specialty food markets. By existing in multiple stages of value addition, from initial raw cashew cleaning and sorting through complex kernel extraction, roasting, packaging, and product development for both domestic and international markets. President Ibrahim has opened the gateway for his country's agricultural development. Modern processing equipment, designed specifically for cashew handling, maximizes kernel recovery rates while maintaining the product quality necessary for premium market positioning. The facility's capacity handles substantial volumes of raw cashews while maintaining flexibility to process different varieties and quality grades based on market demands and seasonal availability. But here's the kicker. The technical complexity of cashew processing requires specialized knowledge and equipment that few African nations have successfully developed domestically. But this processing facility incorporates steam cooking systems that facilitate shell removal, sorting equipment that grades kernels by size and quality, and packaging systems that preserve product freshness during storage and transportation. Quality control laboratories ensure that processed cashews meet international food safety standards while maintaining consistent quality that builds brand reputation in competitive markets. A well-thought-out process indeed.
Is dependent on the export of raw cashew. But when you look at the big processing countries like Vietnam today, 30 years ago, these countries were also dependent on the export of raw nuts.
The economic transformation potential of cashew processing flows throughout the agricultural value chain, from farmers who can now receive premium prices for quality raw cashews, through processors who capture value addition profits to distributors and retailers who market finished products. Domestic processing enables farmers to participate in higher value market segments while building industrial capabilities within Burkina Faso. And don't forget the economic boost and drop in unemployment rates. But this is not the only economic boost it comes with. Domestic markets receive affordable processed cashews that provide nutritious food options, while export markets access premium products that compete with cashews from other producing nations. Value-added products, including cashew butter, flavored nuts, and confectionery items, capture additional market value while demonstrating product development capabilities. Now gear up for this. The cashew processing development includes comprehensive farmer support programs that improve raw material quality and ensure consistent supply throughout processing seasons. Technical assistance helps farmers implement improved harvesting, drying, and storage practices that maximize cashew quality while minimizing post-harvest losses. Guaranteed purchase agreements provide farmers with market security that encourages expanded cashew production and investment in orchard improvements. Environmental sustainability considerations guide cashew processing operations with waste management systems that convert cashew shells and other byproducts into useful materials, including biofuel, animal feed, and industrial applications. Water recycling systems minimize freshwater consumption, while waste treatment facilities ensure that processing operations do not contaminate local water sources. These environmental measures demonstrate that industrial development can coexist with environmental protection. While cashew processing equipment operates in southwestern Burkina Faso, transforming raw nuts into premium food products, the whole vision captures agricultural sophistication that enables rural communities to capture greater shares of global food value chains while building industrial capabilities that support comprehensive rural development. Number 2, the return of health to wealth. In the sprawling villages of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore faced a reality upon assuming power in 2022. Communities existed more than 5,000 meters away from the nearest health facility. For a pregnant woman in labor, a child burning with fever, or an elderly person suffering a heart attack, this distance wasn't just inconvenient, it was often a death sentence. Ibrahim understood that traditional healthcare infrastructure alone couldn't bridge these geographic chasms. His solution would become one of the most innovative healthcare initiatives in modern African leadership. A comprehensive mobile medical network that would bring hospitals directly to the people rather than forcing people to journey to hospitals. The cornerstone of this healthcare transformation emerged through Ibrahim's deployment of state-of-the-art mobile clinics, fully equipped medical units that could navigate Burkina Faso's challenging terrain to reach the most isolated communities. These weren't simple ambulances or basic medical vans.
And that this organization, which has heads of state with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries.
They were sophisticated mobile hospitals complete with diagnostic equipment, surgical capabilities, and specialized medical staff. The initiative, launched in partnership with the Islamic Development Bank, represented a reimagining of healthcare delivery in one of the world's most geographically challenging healthcare environments. But it was more than that for Ibrahim. In a move that stunned both supporters and skeptics, he announced the construction of 55 modern communal medical centers across the country, complemented by 5 specialized resuscitation units. A complete overhaul of Burkina Faso's medical infrastructure designed to create a network of interconnected healthcare hubs that would ensure no citizen remained more than a reasonable distance from quality medical care. The truth would become clear when Ibrahim officially handed over advanced medical equipment and materials to health structures in Waga, Dugu. These weren't donations or aid packages from foreign governments. They were investments funded through the country's own resources, acquired as part of comprehensive health system strengthening projects. The equipment represented cutting-edge medical technology that would enable doctors and nurses to provide treatment previously available only in major international medical centers. The president's healthcare transformation also included plans for domestic pharmaceutical production, reducing Burkina Faso's dependence on imported medicines while creating local employment opportunities in the medical sector. This pharmaceutical manufacturing initiative would ensure that the new hospitals and clinics could maintain consistent supply chains for essential medications, making the entire healthcare system more sustainable and self-reliant. What makes Ibrahim's healthcare revolution particularly compelling is its integration with his broader vision of national sovereignty and self-determination. Rather than relying primarily on international aid or foreign medical missions, these health projects were designed as expressions of Burkinabe capability and determination. The mobile clinics, modern hospitals, and medical equipment represent not just healthcare improvements, but symbols of a nation taking control of its own citizens' well-being. For the woman in a remote village who no longer fears childbirth complications, or the farmer who can receive prompt treatment for injuries, Ibrahim's healthcare revolution represents the difference between hope and despair, between life and death. Number 1. An unexpected liaison. In the dust-laden corridors of power in Ouagadougou, after President Ibrahim seized control of one of West Africa's most troubled nations in 2022,
people are celebrating the appointment of Traore as president. They say because he's fought on the ground and seen the suffering of his people, that he'll be able to change the situation.
he made a decision that would reshape the geopolitical landscape of West Africa. He ordered French troops out in January 2023, ensuring their withdrawal by February of that year. But this wasn't merely an act of defiance. It was calculated desperation born from pragmatic necessity. The vacuum left by the departing French forces needed filling, and Ibrahim's gaze turned eastward toward Moscow. To replace French military support, he forged closer ties to Turkey and Russia. And the result was not just a partnership, but a complete ideological realignment that would position Burkina Faso as one of Russia's most vocal African allies. The courtship accelerated with dramatic speed. A Russian delegation held talks with Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim at a meeting that included discussions on possible military cooperation in August 2023. The symbolism was unmistakable. Where French officials once sat, Russian defense officials now deliberated strategy. By May 2023, the transformation was complete. Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim Traore said Russia had become a key strategic ally. The relationship reached its crescendo in May 2025, when Vladimir Putin held a meeting with President of Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore in the Kremlin during Victory Day celebrations.
Our message is that if we want a good collaboration, it shall be with Russia. France has been here for about 70 years. They are here, they have barracks here.
But this is the interesting part. The partnership extends far beyond military cooperation. Cooperation in healthcare and sanitation holds a lot of promise, Putin assured Ibrahim during their Moscow meeting, promising joint scientific research and laboratory infrastructure development. Yet beneath the diplomatic niceties lies a harder truth. Under Ibrahim, who seized power in a coup, Burkina Faso has turned away from former colonial master France and moved closer to Russia. This isn't merely about military hardware or training. It represents the rejection of Western influence in favor of what Ibrahim perceives as a more reliable partner. To top it off, French has been removed as the official language of Burkina Faso. The transformation is complete, but the stakes remain existentially high. Ibrahim has gambled his nation's future on Moscow's promises, trading one form of dependency for another. Whether this strategic pivot will succeed in defeating the jihadist insurgency that originally motivated the French intervention remains the defining question of his presidency. In the unforgiving terrain of the Sahel, where empires have risen and fallen for centuries, Ibrahim Traore's Russian gambit may well determine whether Burkina Faso emerges as a sovereign success story or becomes another cautionary tale of misplaced trust in foreign powers. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.